right, what is good, everybody? Welcome to the Spiritual War Room. We're looking into the Karen Reed trial. We're looking into the witness testimony and cross-examination of Brian Higgins. Brian Higgins is an ATF agent and witness in the Karen Reed trial. So, if you don't know, Karen Reed is on trial for the death of her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe. Brian Higgins was a friend of this couple, and he was questioned on Friday, May 24th, about his friendship to the victim and the defendant. So in this reading, we're going to look into parts of his testimony and the very uncomfortable communication between him and the defendant. So far, I feel like the defense has been pretty successful in casting doubt on the witness testimony during cross-examination, but then there's Brian Higgins and the communication with the defendant that was presented in court. These are text messages between Brian Higgins and Karen Reed. I'm sorry. In this communication, Karen seemed pretty frustrated with the situation with John O'Keefe and the children, because remember, Karen and John didn't have kids, but John had custody of his sister's daughter and son, so this is his niece and nephew, and Karen's helping him raise these kids, right? So she was expressing her frustration with Brian Higgins during these, this communication, this back and forth, right? But just because, every couple has their moments of dealing with struggle when they're feeling a lack of support. This doesn't make them a killer, but this communication doesn't look good for Karen. She's seen as kind of like teasing. Well, this is how I took it. It seemed like she was teasing Higgins, like dangling a carrot in front of him with absolutely no intention of ever letting him have a bite. Now, Higgins, on the other hand, he seemed like he really wanted to take things further with Karen. He was repeatedly trying to figure out what her intentions were with him and what her intentions were with her future with John O'Keefe, so he's trying to figure this out, and she's kind of avoiding this question when he's kind of asking her, like, what do you want with me? So this doesn't really look good for her, right? Okay. So, I have to admit, even though it doesn't look good for her, it doesn't prove motive. It doesn't prove motive for murder. I don't even get that feeling from Higgins that he had motive to murder John O'Keefe. But it does make me wonder, what if it gave him motive to help cover up a setup? She's the one who's getting set up. Now, the defense isn't really going for this angle, but a lot of people are, there's so much public attention surrounding this case because, it does seem kind of, suspicious. So, I don't know, maybe maybe he felt some kind of way that she was playing with his feelings, with his emotions. I mean, he was very open about his attraction for her and how he wanted to take things. He was searching for the real one, he said in one of these messages, in this exchange back and forth. So we're going to look into it, guys. This case is kind of complicated because it does involve law enforcement and people who have connections to people who have authority. And this is what's making people wonder, what's really being hidden. All right, guys. So in this reading, the areas we're going to look into are Higgins' feelings towards the victim, John O'Keefe. What does Higgins know about his death? What does Higgins play a part in his death or this cover up? And what does Higgins care? Does Higgins really care about getting justice for John O'Keefe? We're also going to look into the flirting between Higgins and Reed, and we're going to look into, the text. Well, we're not going to look into the text. We're going to look into more what their intentions were during this exchange. What were Karen's intentions? What were Brian Higgins' intentions? Okay. I think there was something said that like Karen kissed him, so we're going to look into why did she do this, okay? We're also going to look into friendly connections. These are the people who have connections to like law enforcement, and because Brian Higgins is an ATF agent. So we're going to look into the calls between Higgins, Berkowitz, Brian Albert, Kevin Albert. What were they discussing? Was Higgins, giving them information about the investigation? Higgins couldn't remember if he removed his SIM card. He didn't really want to answer about like destroying his phone. So we're going to look into that. Was he trying to hide evidence of communication with Berkowitz, Brian Albert, Kevin Albert, and like other people? We're going to look into Higgins, whether he was at the Sallyport. I think that's a police impound lot where Karen's car was delivered and taken into evidence. Was he there at the time? And what does Higgins know about like this taillight evidence? Because I think there was a lot of questions surrounding that. Okay. So Higgins made a toast at Kenny Berkowitz's retirement party. And in this toast, Higgins had said, "If you need to hide a body, Kenny Berkowitz is your man." This toast was made after the death of John O'Keefe. So why did Higgins make this, strange remark? He's toasting to Berkowitz, and Berkowitz, I think he's mixed up in all this too. So we're going to look into that. All right. Anything else that Higgins may know or may be hiding, we're going to look into that. And if there's time, we're going to get a final message for Higgins. All right, guys? So, yes. I will put timestamps down below so you can skip through, come back, leave, come back, because it is probably going to be a lengthy video. All right? So, I will put the timestamps down below. And yeah, before we jump into this, don't forget to show me some love, like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate your love and support, guys. All right, guys, let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start by looking into Higgins' feelings about the victim, John O'Keefe. What are Brian Higgins' feelings? 10 spokes. It's not really saying anything about his feelings towards John O'Keefe. This is more his feelings about the whole situation of everything that's going on right now. So what he's right here, what it's saying, it's like it's a real burden to get over this obstacle that is placed before him. What is this obstacle? That he was trying to, maybe he was offering he was making himself available to Karen, because really that's kind of what she was kind of hinting towards. This is the situation that Brian Higgins sees currently. These aren't his feelings towards John O'Keefe. This whole situation is burdensome. This is a hard obstacle to get over. He got caught up. And the reason he's getting kind of like, the lights are lining up and like coming right back towards him was because of this connection, this communication with Karen Reed. Okay. Eight of Spokes. Yeah, this this has to do with the communication that he had with Karen. Like, it all crumbled, right? Here he thought he was going to have some kind of, you know, a new beginning with her, because she's, you know, she's venting to him, right? She's venting to him. He's, you know, offering his cone right there, and she takes it. But then she's like, you know what, I don't really want this anymore. Here, you can have it back. All, you know, broken apart, you know. So that's, you know, this is representing his heart and what she did to him. Like, I got caught up. Now I'm like, I can't get out of this. Everything's coming back at me. Here I thought, you know, I was tricked. I was tricked. She made me think that this was going somewhere, but then she ghosts me. So this is what's going through his mind right now when he thinks of John O'Keefe. He's like, man, what does Higgins know? What does Higgins know about the death of John O'Keefe? What does he know about his death? This is what he can't get over. This is the obstacle. What's the Wheel of Fortune? Why is the Wheel of Fortune here? Okay. To turn the death around on to pin the death on Karen, you know, swap destinies, where somebody was gonna go to jail, like they swapped the destinies, like, so now Karen's going to prison for this death, and they're able to do this because of the work they do, their connections. Okay, so I'm getting they're able to do this because of the work that they do. Here I'm being drawn to how he's working on this pentacle, right? They got to make it look just right, just like the other ones, right? So they put it in her hands. But with the Seven of Pentacles, I'm getting planted. Planted. It was planted evidence. So what does Higgins know about the death of John O'Keefe? That they planted evidence framing Karen, because he was mad. He didn't care because he was mad that he felt like he felt like she was playing with his emotions. Like she was going to offer him something that she had no intention on giving him. And it was kind of the feeling I got too. So he's like, you're going to go rot in prison for hurting my feelings. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, what Karen did was foul. You know, I don't know what her intentions were, but, you know, if she was just trying to make him jealous, and it didn't seem like she was really, you know, trying to cross any lines. She really didn't want to. It was just, she was just dangling the carrot. She was hoping that, you know, I don't know, like, I was getting this before, that she was really trying to get under John's skin, like, you know, I don't, it's like, fuck a Boston police officer, I can have a federal agent, you know, that kind of energy, like, you ain't shit, you know. I don't know, it's like she was really trying to get under his skin. And she was using Brian Higgins as that pawn, like, and he felt some kind of way that she was trying to manipulate him to use. And I think he said this in his testimony, like, I'm not gonna let somebody use me to, you know, get back at a friend of mine. And that's why he was like really trying to, he didn't want to cross a line, right? He didn't want to cross a line, but she was showing interest and he was attracted to her. So she, you know, he thought like, hey, maybe if it's really over between them, maybe it can, you know, it might work with us. But he wanted to know, what are your intentions? Are you for real that you want to, you know, get to know me? Or are you just, you know, trying to piss him off? And it made him angry to find out that he was just someone she was using to piss off John O'Keefe. So what does he know about this death? That he knows that there was planted evidence. He knows that she's being set up and that she's being framed. Did Higgins play a part in this, in the death or the cover-up? I have 10 of dice. His resources. He, the part that he played was his resources. Spirit says that's the truth. Yep. So he wasn't, again, I wasn't getting that he was a part of, like, what happened to John O'Keefe, you know, that led to his death. I don't think he has a part in that, but he has a part in allowing the people who did have a part in his death. He gave them the resources that they needed to help cover this up. Yeah. Wheel of Fortune. He had many connections. These are people that you know, like, they do favors for each other. Like, I helped you out, you know, when you were going through this, and so now you owe me one, type of thing. You know, they got each other's back, whereas they know that Karen doesn't have that kind of, those kind of resources and support. There's no support here, a lack of support. They know this. So they thought it would be, like, she would be an easy target to pin this on. Yeah. So that's, he did play a part in knowing that she wasn't going to have the support that she needed to fight their resources, their connections. You know, they thought they had it in the bag. So does Brian Higgins care about true justice for John O'Keefe? Or is he truly just wanting to get back at Karen? He's in too deep. He's in too deep. Like, he knows that he got involved only because he wanted to get back at Karen. So if he gets in trouble, it's because of, like, his misuse of resources, of his government resources. These are things for his own personal benefit, you know, like, I want to get back at this bitch for breaking my heart. She made me think that she was gonna you know, I gave her my heart, she took it, and then she gave it back to me all broken. Now this guy's all, you know, in over his head because all the evidence is kind of like pointing right back at him. Like, where was he at the time? What did he know? You know, who did he call? That type of stuff. So does he care about true justice? Like, I think he's just more, he's just trying to he's trying to distance himself because he knows that he's involved. Two of dice. It was because he thought she was, yeah, no. Oh, here's the two of dice again. You were playing with my emotions, and then you hurt me, and so we're gonna plant evidence to get you locked up for this death. I thought you really wanted something with me. This person, oh, he was so mad. He was so mad. So, like, he didn't care about justice. He had a vendetta. You know, he wanted to get back at Karen Reed. So, yeah. Wow. Okay. All right, guys. Let's look into the flirting between Higgins and Reed. All right. It's okay. So it's known that Karen kissed Brian Higgins. What were her intentions with kissing him? We have Three of Pentacles. Okay. Her intentions with this kiss. This could have been like, she was trying to send a message to her lover. Like, to her lover. John O'Keefe. Pretty much she was trying to get under his skin. She was trying to like, this is like, she was being petty here. She was trying to get under his skin. Like, the thought of another man loving her, even worse, somebody that he knows from work. This one interested in my wife. Or my wife, my partner, my girlfriend. She was being petty. This was a way to try and get under his skin. And then we have the Moon, the Four of Cups, and the Eight of Swords. What's hidden? These are secrets that are hidden, that the person that was arrested was arrested because the person that they were using to get back at their lover was rejected. It's like, you know, this Brian Higgins is realizing, oh, this bitch is only using me to get back at her, you know, to piss off her boyfriend. She's not really interested in me. She's just playing with my feelings, my emotions, my like, you know, the fact that I like her. She's using that. Wow. That kiss meant something to him, because we're talking about the kiss. There was a fight between, maybe was there a fight? What? He saw this. The lovers, he saw this. Yeah, he was like, I don't need some drama. I don't want this drama. Like, she's telling him, oh my God, he saw us. And he's like, wait, what? What? He saw us smooching? And this could have been like, there could have been some argument or some, you know, not like, I'm not getting some like nasty fight. Just, he knew that his ways of being reckless, drinking too much and flirting, being too you know, just too nice with certain people, certain women. He knew that he was threatening his stability by behaving this way. And it could have done something to him where he was just like, he knew that she had options, and that she could actually upgrade, you know, because that's how he saw it. He saw Brian Higgins as like, okay, well, he's an ATF agent, I'm a police officer, you know, so he outranks me, and he's interested in my girl, and if my girl leaves, you know, it's going to threaten my own stability, because, you know, she helps me out with my kids, you know, so the fact that she did what she did, it really did kind of bring him back into reality about his own behavior, but she did it at the expense of another person's feelings. And so this really hurt him, because he could have had real feelings for her. And this is why I say it doesn't look good for Karen Reed, because I felt for the guy. I felt bad for him, because I did sense that he was really trying to figure out, like, hey, you know, are you just playing with me, or is this just like, I want to, you know. It seemed like she was willing to just, you know, I don't know even, no, I don't know. Well, okay. So there was a fight, and yeah, he was, again, it's not like screaming or physical or fighting. It just could have been some kind of argument about what she was really up to hurt him. really was to hurt him. So she wanted him to know that, hey, if I leave you, I'm not gonna. You're not, I don't know. Okay. So that's what the kiss was about. That was her intentions with that kiss, was to get under John O'Keefe's skin. So Karen Reed gets Brian Higgins' phone number from a friend or something like that, and she starts texting him. He wants to know, how'd you get my number? What are her intentions with Higgins when she starts texting him? What are her intentions when she starts texting him? Okay. She's in a pretty, like, she's in a tough place with her partner. She could have been kind of wanting a friend. You know, she could have felt burdened by the situation at home. She could have felt very alone and, unsupported right here. And there could have been somebody who was noticing that, saying, hey, I wouldn't treat you like that. I wouldn't do that to you. He wants to build, but he wants to build by, like, and it starts with the third party. These situations never last. They start really fun, but then they quickly end. So this, had he been okay with just like, this probably wasn't a good situation for me anyways, starting off a connection, a relationship in this manner is not the healthiest. It would have ended anyways, but instead of seeing it that way, he was pretty pissed off that she was playing with his emotions, which is fucked up. It's fucked up. Her intentions, when she started messaging him, I don't know what came first. I don't know. I don't know if they had been talking prior to this kid. I don't know. But the way I'm getting it is that she kissed Brian Higgins to kind of get under John O'Keefe's skin. This was going on during the time. She could have been maybe even weighing her options, like maybe it is possible. He's good at his job. He has connections when... so she knew. This is how she... Karen Reed knew these people. She knew what they were capable of. She knew the power that they hold. The authority that they hold. The pull that they hold. She knows this. She's like, he knows, like, this ATF agent, he has pull, but he has connections to even bigger people who, when you're in a tough spot, they'll come to your rescue. Yeah. She knows this, and so that's why she knows that it's very likely that they were trying to do this to her. Wow. What are Higgins' intentions with Karen when he's messaging her? What are Higgins' intentions with Karen? Okay. It's not even like telling me his intentions with Karen. It's telling me, this is when she ended it, when she walked away from him, like, he came into clarity and truth that she was just playing him for a fool. This broke his heart. This broke his heart when she just walked away. He felt like maybe she was using her looks to get whatever she wanted, and once she got what she wanted out of them, she cuts them out. Like, he saw her in this way. Yeah, that she's deceptive. She uses, like, her attraction. Okay. I'm getting that maybe he sees her as deceptive, like a lying snake. That she breaks people's hearts. That's how she gets what she wants. That's how he sees her. That maybe she was cheating on him, that she has options too, and that this is something that she kept very hidden. She could have been messing around with maybe his superiors. Is this true? Yeah. His intentions with Karen. She broke his heart. That's clear. He sees her as a snake, a cheater, someone who uses her looks to get what she wants. She could have been, I don't know why I'm getting, like, maybe if there's someone that she did sleep with, it could have been, I'm not seeing the Knight of Wands. So maybe it doesn't have to be sexual. Maybe just like flirting with someone to make them, think that there's a chance, or that she likes them. I don't know. That's why they wanted to, like, set her up. Like, get back. And it could have been more than one person that wanted to get back at her for something. All right. Let's look into these friendly connections that they have. Possible evidence tampering. The calls between Higgins, Berkowitz, Brian Albert, Kevin Albert. What was being discussed during these conversations? Six of Spokes. This speaks of I'm getting, like, public recognition, though. Public recognition. Oh, sorry, guys. No, I'm sorry. Let's back it up. No, let's back it up. We didn't look into what things, how did things end between the two? Well, no, she ghosted him, huh? We did kind of go over that. Yeah, she ended it. He didn't even get a chance to get it in with you. He didn't get a chance. ended. And so we're going to use the justice system to create these lies and illusions no one's ever going to know, because the odds are stacked up against you. But everything's coming back to them, to the people who try to pin this on Karen. Yeah, they really did try to do it. Oh my god. I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now. Let me get my thoughts back together. So let's get their feelings towards one another after this ending. One for Karen. One for Karen. The Hangman. One for Brian Higgins, please. One for Brian Higgins, please. Okay. After it ended, Karen Reed had no idea what was going to come to her for breaking his heart. What didn't she know? What didn't she see coming? What didn't she see coming? Oh my gosh, I should probably get some light up in here. What didn't Karen see coming? That these government officials were going to attack her because she hurt their feelings. She played with their emotions. She confused them, making them think that maybe they had a shot, and she wasn't really ever really wanting to leave her family. Because she did love those kids. So Karen had no idea what was headed her way. The Six of Dice, these are hidden enemies. She did not know that that this person could turn into an enemy real quick because of how she treated him. That's why she's left holding the piece that connects her to this death. He gave it to her, yeah. It's like, these people telling her, oh, here, hold this. And she's like, oh, okay, because she trusts them. But they were deceptive. We have the resources. If we say you are connected to this death, then that's what it is. Yeah. He wanted her to have a hard time getting out of it. Yeah. Swap destinies. You're going to be left holding the bag for, you're going to be the one who's going down for this. That's his feelings towards her after this ending. Why did she call? Okay, so the last text that she ever, okay, so they were texting back and forth, and then I think on January 23rd, John O'Keefe dies on January 29th, I believe. January 23rd, I think that's when the last text comes in. So there's like a week that they're not in communication. The next text that he gets from her, I believe he was texting her. She didn't text him back. But when she did finally reach out to him, it was to inform Brian Higgins that John O'Keefe had died. Okay? Why did she reach out to him after his death? Maybe you can help me. Did you see anything? You were at this party when this happened. What do you know? Yeah. Official message. You are the authority. What do you know? What is hidden? I thought we had a good relationship. So she was trying to use her, again, she was trying to manipulate his feelings for her to try and get some information, because she really didn't know what happened. She was trying to figure it out. She thought, oh, well, I can just come back and act like I didn't just break his heart, even though I ignored him. Again, she was trying to manipulate his feelings. That is devilish behavior. You cannot play with people like that to get something for yourself. The way he's not supposed to be using his public office, his government resources for his own personal gain. Men and women should not be using someone's feelings and love and emotions for them, or feelings for them, against them, to get something for their own gain. They're using someone else's feelings for them, for their own gain, and that's manipulative as fuck. That's devil energy. That's what Karen was doing. It's fucked up. So yeah, she was trying to get some information. What do you know? You were at this party. What do you know? She was trying to get information. So she did message him. She had ghosted him. She ghosted him. And then she comes back because she needs information, right? And she's hoping that, he has feelings for me. He likes me. He's, maybe he'll think that maybe there's a shot now, and he'll help me. And I don't know. She really thought that Higgins was on her side. That's for sure. So the calls between Higgins, Berkowitz, and Kevin Albert, what were they talking about? What were they talking about in these discussions? We have Ace of Wands. Okay. Ace of Wands speaks of conflicts, new conflicts that arise, that stressing amount. How do we block people from seeing the truth? How do we utilize our resources and keep people from really seeing this truth? This is what they were discussing, a cover-up. How can we swap what we did onto Karen Reed and come out successful? We need to attack Karen. Okay, so what we got to do is talk about how she's such a whore, and that he never came into the house. There was some kind of argument, some kind of fight, and she attacked him, not us. We cannot let anyone know that he was in the home. Like how they're waving from afar, like, oh, hi, there's Karen and John outside of the house. He never came into the house, right? If he didn't come in the house, they can't prove that we all attacked him. There was an attack. But they have to swap, put it on Karen, that Karen was the one who did this because she's a whore. He was a cheater and she was a cheater, and, he was mad. I don't know. They were calling their friends and the wives of their friends. We need your help. But this needs to be kept a secret. It was this kid that did it. So there was a mother. The mother of this child. It doesn't have to be a mother. This could be like an auntie, a grandmother. But someone called maybe an investigator's wife. auntie, sister, mother, grandmother. It's feminine energy. Got in contact with someone's partner, someone close to them, about this child. This is where they were discussing planting evidence. Yeah, being deceptive. Calling judgment on someone who's innocent. But the truth is going to come out, and it's going to come out online. Like, the whole world is watching this shit play out. So what are they talking about? They're talking about the how are we going to plant the evidence? What kind of narrative do we need to spin to make her look guilty? Those are the things that they're talking about. But they need the help of, like, the women. Okay. Yeah. This father is really burdened, like, oh my God, how am I going to get my kid out of this? I need your resources to hold on to my family. I can't let my son go down for this. Yeah. They're going to lose their resources. These people are going to, whoever abused their position for their own personal gain, these people are going to lose that. Yeah, they thought they were being slick. There's a whole group going down that because the truth is coming out. Judgment's being called on these people for sure. Okay, so Higgins removed his SIM card or destroyed his phone to hide evidence. Did he do that? He was trying to say, oh, these are my family, these are my friends. It was innocent, but it wasn't innocent. This wasn't innocent communication. He had to hand over his phone, and he didn't want the truth that, you know, they were discussing planting evidence. Ooh. Yes, they had to have her, they had to work together to have her hold in this. That's a truth, Spirit says. That's a truth. They use their resources, their connections to plant this evidence and have her holding it. They had to work together. That's what he's hiding. They were Brian Higgins was trying to make it seem like, oh, this communication with these people is innocent, you know, innocent communication. We're friends, we're family, we're colleagues, right? So of course we're going to communicate. This is true. But he didn't want it to be known what it is that they were communicating. He knew that he had to hand over his phone, and that there was evidence of them planning to plant evidence, something like that. Okay. Was Higgins at Sally Port? That, I think that's the police impound lot when Karen's car was delivered. Was he there at the time? He's like, I can't recall. Yes, the investigator was there. Doing some kind of sneaky shit surrounding this death. They were doing something sneaky against someone who was innocent. Who was this innocent person? So he's trying to help his friend. He's trying to help his friend get out of this tough situation. Because his friend, his friend is the father of the one responsible for what happened. The father's the one responsible for covering it up. They got good news. We got everything that we needed to plant this evidence. Judgment will be called, even though this bitch was at home with the kids. The whole world is watching, and they're questioning this child. They're keeping this kid hidden. And there's people saying, oh, you know, they're bringing so much grief to the family. Innocent, poor innocent kid. They're fucking, this kid is a fool. This kid is I guarantee you, if this kid were to get away with what he did, this kid is gonna end up in this, just in a more fucked up situation, and his mommy and daddy and all his aunties and uncles and all their friends are gonna be cleaning up after this fucking ungrateful, disrespectful ass kid. They're gonna always be cleaning up after this kid. Because he is, oh my God, this kid. This is probably a grown man by now. Out here acting a fool because they think, oh yeah, look at him. He's really proud of himself. He's really proud of himself. Bragging about it. Oh, I had a reading. Oh my God. I don't even remember what reading it was, but I remember it was talking about a kid who got too drunk and he was out at a party and he was bragging about how he got away with some kind of crime by pinning it on someone's ex. I thought it was like, their dad's ex or something like that. But it could have been like their dad's friend's ex. I don't know. But I had a reading about this, and this is, I don't know why, this is where it's taken me. It took me back to that reading, that this kid could have been bragging. There could be a witness that overheard this kid bragging about how they got away with murder, how they were able to pin this on Karen Reed. So was Higgins, like, going back to if Higgins was at Sallyport when Karen's car was delivered? Yes, he was. This is where they got the evidence that they needed to plant on to make Karen look guilty of this crime. Bear says that's the truth. It's gonna be a fucking hard obstacle to get away from this, because the truth is being seen, the deception is being seen, and the justice system cannot ignore what has happened. This is an officer. This is a police officer that was killed by other public servants. And their families. Wow. Okay. Higgins was involved because he wanted to get back at Karen Reed. Higgins is guilty, whether it's proven in court or not, but in spiritual court, he is guilty of using his resources, his connections to get back at someone who hurt him. And I'm not taking away from his pain. What she did was foul. What she did was wrong. What she did was devilish. But that doesn't mean that they can put, charge her with a crime that she did not commit. Okay. So, does Higgins know... Okay, I was going to say, does Higgins know about the taillight evidence? Well, yeah, he planted it. Or he got the evidence that he needed to give to whoever that was to plant it, because I don't think he planted it. He was just able to get the evidence. Here, I got some taillight fragments, just throw it around the yard and make it look like, she hit him. There's evidence right there. Open and shut case. They were trying to, take the suspicion off him, John O'Keefe being in the home, which he was. He was in the home. He did go in the home. Okay. So, the toast at Berkowitz retirement party. If you need to hide a body, Kenny Berkowitz is your man. This toast was made after the death of John O'Keefe. This toast was made after John O'Keefe's death. Okay? So, why did Higgins make this strange remark? Why did he say this? It's really coming down. It's really raining. I love it. Okay, This is the boss that, okay, remember, Karen knew this about Brian Higgins, that he had connections. The person above him had the pull. So if Brian Higgins ever needed something, if anything ever went left and he needed help getting out of a tough situation, Brian Higgins knew the man to go to, Kenny Berkowitz, right? Karen knew this. And they were in a tough spot. A fellow police officer had something go down in his home. We can't have him, our, fellow officers in blue, go down for this. It was an accident. Can we say that, like, someone hit? He could have been. It was an accident. He told the boss, he told Kenny Berkowitz, this bitch broke my heart, had me fooled, thinking that she was, like, in love with me and that she was gonna leave her husband. She broke my heart. This woman's boyfriend ends up dead at a fellow police officer, probably because they could have been, like, trying to spin it like, oh yeah, he did something, he instigated this conflict or something like that. They're trying to pin it on John, like, behind the scenes, not to the world, but behind the scenes, telling this one Kenny Berkowitz, hey, it was John O'Keefe that started it. Our officer had to protect his family. They jumped in, and we don't know what to do. And so, like, how can we make this, fix this? Can we pin it on the girl that broke my heart? She dropped him off. She was really drunk. We can, because they all know that they do this. They all drink and drive. They all fucking do this shit. So they thought, like, they were like, well, she was drunk enough to where, we can probably pin it on her. This was a conversation that Brian Higgins and Kenny Berkowitz had. This is what the toast was about. If you ever need to hide a body, Kenny Berkowitz is your man, because he had helped me when I needed to help a friend cover up a crime. They didn't hide the body, they just pinned it on another person, right? That's why he made this toast. They're all deceptive snakes. Look at us, hiding bodies, hiding the things that we've done. We get away with it. They're scared, though. They're scared that something, they don't understand. They don't know. Maybe they do know now, but at the time they didn't know that Internal Investigations was investigating them. Whew, they're even investigating this emperor. Wow. They didn't know. Yeah. They were watching. They were really watching someone try to set up another person. They were allowing some of this stuff to go. To happen. They allowed this stuff to go on. Some stuff. Obviously, not everything, I think. Yeah, they know the truth about this death, and it's going to bring a tower because it's going to be very public. Their downfall is going to be very public. They're trying. They're trying to strategize how they're going to get away from this shit show, because as the trial's going on, they know that the walls are closing in on them. All right, so that was the toast. Anything else that Higgins may know that he's hiding? I think we got most of it. Secrets that there's a lot of people involved. He knows there's a lot of people lying. He knows that he was in the house, and that John O'Keefe was in the house. He knows that Karen's being framed for this murder. Okay. For this family and the resources, the connections that they've had, all that shit is coming to an end. These are people who could be disgraced and lose their jobs, lose their titles, whatever they have, whatever position that they are in, they're about to lose that. Their family's going to take a hit. Their finances are going to take a hit. There's going to be a lot of painful endings for the people who were involved. There's a lot more than just a few. There's, there could be up to 7 people involved in this cover-up, lying under oath, lying about who was at the house and who wasn't. So if they're saying that they weren't at the house, these are the people that you kind of have to look at more closely. They're closely connected to what really went down with John O'Keefe. That's what Brian Higgins knows and is hiding. Final message to Brian Higgins. The Spirit had a message for Brian Higgins. You have the Strength in the Page of Wands. Okay. A test for him. Strong feelings for another person. He needed to know when it was time to walk away from a situation that didn't serve him. Just because it looks good doesn't mean it is good. He needed to know the difference between his emotions and lust. He was allowing Karen to emotionally manipulate him, and he was because he was very sexually drawn to her. He was very sexually drawn to her, very sexually attracted to her, and she knew this, and she used that to emotionally manipulate. So it's like knowing the difference between emotions and lust, because there's women that are very tricked, men and women, who know how to do that. They're very crafty. He needed to walk away. He would have been better in leaving Karen alone, but he had to have the strength to walk away. But no, he allowed her to emotionally manipulate him. He was very sexually drawn to her. It's like maybe someone could have told him, hey, this bitch, she ain't serious about you. And he didn't want to hear it. He let it go on because it felt good, When someone gives you some solid advice, learn to take it. Don't allow people to manipulate your mind, your emotions, anything. Even your passions. Don't allow people to manipulate you. This is a lesson that he needed to learn. You can be at the top of the wheel, or you can, fall to the bottom. Here, let me see if you can see it. Do you see at the top of the wheel, it's a broken heart? And this one right here is really worried, like, oh no, is it going to land on that broken heart? And it did for him. It did. It landed on a broken heart because he didn't want to hear good advice, that this person really wasn't that into him. That Karen Reed really wasn't that into him. He could have been given some advice that, hey, she's just playing with your feelings. And you're just so infatuated with her because you think she's so hot that, you're letting her, take you out of your character. So it did, and it kind of like pissed him off, and that's why he wanted to get back at her. Like, how dare you fucking play with me like that, ho? It's something like that, but just because she was, doing this shit doesn't mean that she killed her husband. I keep wanting to say that. I even called her Karen O'Keefe. Maybe this is something that really, they both really wanted. Let's get a message. Let's see if John O'Keefe wants to come through. Let's see if he can, let us know if he wants to say anything to maybe Brian Higgins and Karen. Let's okay. Knight of Cups is a sweet message. Okay, let's see what John O'Keefe's message to Karen. Okay. Don't worry. I know you might feel alone, but I'm watching over you. I still think you're sexy. He's like, oh my God. It's almost like he wants to say sorry. Sorry for not being there. Sorry for being a devil. I know that evidence was planted to make you look like the guilty party. I was in the home. I was drinking when all this happened. The judgment needs to be called on the people who were in this home and all the people that they were collaborating with. This is a repeated cycle. So these are people who have done this before. Used their resources to kind of cover up crimes. And it didn't have to be anything major like, oh, they're all murderers and they're doing crazy cover-up things, or, things to cover up their crimes. This could be like, oh, there was like a fight. Let's make sure that doesn't get to go to court or something like that. Covering up little things here and there. Kind of going back to the child. And when I said that these people are always going to have to be covering up and cleaning up this kid's mess, this is what they were doing before. They were constantly cleaning up messes for this kid, and this was a repeated mistake that they kept doing. They kept cleaning up this kid's mess, and now judgment is finally being called on this whole group for using and abusing their positions. If anything, he's apologetic to Karen for the devilish things that he did, because he was, doing shit behind her back. Maybe he was cheating on her. Maybe he was taking advantage of her. I'm never around, but you have to take care of the kids. And she's like, I don't have kids. I never wanted kids, but I love these kids, and you're not around to help me with these kids that I'm in it, but you're not in it. And these are your niece and nephew. But she still loved them. That didn't take away from the fact that she loved them, but she was kind of pissed off that, hey, I'm in this, are you? And he wasn't. He was out here doing devilish shit. He didn't have to be sleeping with people, although I do get that at times, but I'm getting that he was just like, he was taking advantage of her, and she felt alone. She felt, not supported. She felt the burden of taking care of, if she worked, she was doing her own, she did her own work, and she took care of the home and took care of the kids, and she was taking on a lot that really didn't belong to her. But she was doing it because she was in it with him, for him, and he wasn't in it. And that's why he's coming through like, I am so fucking sorry for being a devilish asshole. I should have been there for you. I still think you're sexy, he's saying. I still think you're beautiful. I know you're innocent. That this evidence that they planted is not you. Judgment will be called. Because on the people who were in this home, the people that worked together to cover this up, because there was a lot of drinking. Words were exchanged. A fight broke out. This is a repeated pattern, so a pattern is very significant here. This is something that they've done again. Someone's gotten too drunk and got hot-headed, started a fight, had to cover it up. They had the resources to do it. That's why judgment's being called on them, because they cannot be setting people up, covering up for their own crimes. These people are supposed to uphold the law, and they're over here breaking it and covering it up with the resources that the taxpayers pay. So, I don't know, guys. That's what I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. 11111. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.